So, Cami, I didn't understand a thing about this class.
Don't worry, I have a podcast that will eliminate all your doubts.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast on intercultural management in global businesses. I'm Juanita, a second semester university student, and this is my partner, Geraldine. Today, we'll be discussing some key topics about how companies navigate cultural differences, sustainability, and globalization in today's interconnected world.
That's right. We've chosen 5 questions that we think are really relevant for understanding how businesses operate across cultures and how they can balance global strategies with local values. So let's start with the first question. How can multinational companies adapt their sustainability strategies to respect and integrate different cultural perceptions of the environment?
This is a really important question because sustainability isn't a one-size-fits-all concept. For example, a company like Unilever has to adapt its sustainability strategies depending on the country it operates in. In some cultures, environmental protection might be tied to religious or traditional values, while in others, it's more about economic benefits. So companies need to engage with local communities and understand their unique perspectives to create effective sustainability programs.
Exactly. A great example is how IKEA uses renewable energy in some countries, but also focuses on educating consumers about sustainable living in other countries. It's not just about reducing carbon emissions globally, but also about respecting global local values and traditions. In this way, they build trust and long-term relationships with their customers.
So for the next question we have, how do cultural differences influences success or failure in global businesses strategies?
Well, cultural difference can make or break a business strategy. For instance, when Walmart entered Germany, it failed because it didn't adapt to German shopping habits and labor laws. Germans prefer a smaller local store and value employee benefits, which Walmart didn't prioritize. This shows how important it is to understand cultural norms before expanding globally.
Right. On the other hand, we have McDonald's. It's a great example of success. They adapt their menu to local tastes, like offering vegetarian options in India or rice burgers in Japan. By respecting cultural preferences, they manage to thrive in almost every market they enter.
Another great example of how cultural differences impact global business strategies is Starbucks in Australia. When Starbucks first entered the Australian market, it assumed its global model will work there too. But Australians have a very different coffee culture. They prefer small, independent cafes that serve high-quality artisanal coffee. Starbucks' standardized menu and fast service model didn't appeal to them.
Exactly. Starbucks didn't take the time to understand the local culture, and as a result, they ended up closing more than 60 stores in Australia. It was a classic case of a global brand failing to adapt to local preferences.
But here's the interesting part. Starbucks didn't give up. They re-entered the Australian market with a new strategy. This time focused on premium coffee and tailored their menu to suit Australian tastes. They also positioned themselves as a place for people to relax and enjoy their coffee, rather than just a quick stop for caffeine fix.
Yes, this shows how important it is for companies to learn from their mistakes and adapt to local cultures. Starbucks' second attempt in Australia is a great example of how understanding cultural differences can turn failure into a success.
For the third question we have, how should international companies adapt their HR and CSR policies to integrate employees who identify with global communities while preserving local cultural identities? Well, this is a tricky balance. Companies like Google and Microsoft have global teams, so they need to create inclusive policies that respect local cultures while fostering a unified culture. For example, they might offer flexible holidays so employees can celebrate both local and global events, like the Diwali in India or Thanksgiving in the USA. Another great example is how companies like Nestlé have local CSR initiatives that align with global sustainability goals. In Africa, they work on improving water access, which is a local need, but it also ties into their global commitment to environmental sustainability. In this way, they respect local identities while contributing to a larger corporate mission.
Question number 4. How do individualism and collectivism influence teamwork in different cultures?
This is really interesting because it affects how teams collaborate. In individualistic cultures like the US, employees might focus on personal achievements and competition. But in collectivistic cultures like Japan, teamwork and group harmony are prioritized. For example, in Japanese companies, decisions are often made collectively, while in the US, a manager might make the final call.
Right. This can clear challenges in global teams. A company like Toyota, which operates worldwide, has to balance these cultural differences. They might encourage individual innovation in the US, but emphasize teamwork in Japan. Understanding these differences is key to effective collaboration.
For the final question we have, can globalization and environmental sustainability coexist? Or does global economic growth inevitably will harm the environment?
Well, this is a big debate. On one hand, globalization often leads to increased production and consumption, which can harm the environment. But on the other hand, it also allows for the spread of sustainable technologies and practices. For example, renewable energy solutions developed in one country can be shared globally, reducing carbon emissions worldwide.
Exactly, companies like Tesla are a great example. They've used globalization to scale up electric vehicle production and made them accessible worldwide. So while globalization can have negative impacts, it also offers opportunities for positive change if businesses prioritize sustainability.
Let's talk about Patagonia, a great example of how globalization and environmental sustainability can coexist. Patagonia is a global outdoor clothing brand, but unlike many other companies, they've made sustainability a core part of their business model. They use recycled materials in their products, reduce waste in their supply chain, and even encourage customers to repair their clothes instead of buying new ones.
That's right, Patagonia also donates 1% of its sales to environmental causes and actively campaigns for issues like climate change and conservation. They've shown that it's possible to be a global company while still prioritizing the planet over profit.
What's really interesting is that Patagonia's commitment to sustainability hasn't hurt their business. In fact, it's made them more successful. Consumers today, especially younger generations, care deeply about their environment, and they're willing to support brands that share their values. Patagonia's global reach has actually helped spread awareness about sustainability.
Exactly, this proves that globalization doesn't have to harm the environment. If companies are willing to innovate and make sustainability a priority, they can thrive in a globalized world while also protecting the planet.
Well, to wrap up, we've seen how cultural differences play a huge role in global business strategies. From sustainability to teamwork, companies that respect and integrate these differences are more likely to succeed in today's interconnected world.
And we've also discussed how globalization and sustainability can coexist if businesses are willing to adapt and innovate. It's all about finding the right balance between global goals and local values.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this discussion on intercultural management. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this helpful.
Bye!
Now again the topic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.